How much are these watches worth?
Let's just say we're very kidnappable right now.
Is a watch really a good investment?
The simple answer to this is if you've bought watches from some of the top tier brands, the blue chip companies, say in the past 3 to 5 years, you've definitely made money. We've been hit by a pandemic recently, which means that a lot of the watch companies weren't able to produce as much as they normally would. While as the demand has stayed the same, if not increased. People still have birthdays, people still have graduations, etc.
Sure.
But there's a lot less watches coming into the market. And then there's another factor which has made watches great investment pieces, which is the whole social media boom.
Yeah.
You see wrist shots everywhere. Like we've all seen the picture with the Rolls Royce and the Richard Mille, and everyone is snapping that.
Yeah, exactly.
Rolex has a fantastic track record. Patek Philippe, always a top performer. Audemars Piguet, Richard Mille. If you own almost, I would just say almost anything from these brands, you would have definitely made money. And another factor is a lot of these brands have increased their prices year on year.
Right.
So if you bought a watch 5 years ago and brand X has increased it by say 3 to 7% year on year, so you've made that much money just because of the brand's pricing proposition.
Shall we dive into these beautiful watches and talk about them?
Yeah, definitely.
The first watch is a Patek Philippe.
Yes, so this is one of my favorite watches. It's an annual calendar, which
I just want to take it and run.
You can, but I will chase you. So it's a complication, and it's a women's complication, and that's something I really like. In the past, there was this notion of, women watches, this is previously, were sort of treated like an afterthought. So, we produce this, let's slap some diamonds on it, and then, make it smaller and sell it to the ladies.
Exactly.
So I love it when a brand actually customizes a complicated watch for women, and it's its own unique watch. So the annual calendar is one of Patek Philippe's best complications, and it's a brilliant watch to have as a lady if you don't want something simple and you kind of want to roll with the big leagues.
And another brand that's always safe to invest in is the Richard Mille.
So Richard Mille is like the cool kid on the block, okay? So their watches are quite loud, they're very bold.
Cool.
All of their watches are actually quite bold, and they're a statement. If you wear Richard Mille, you're automatically making a statement about who you are. 2 million dirhams, 3 million dirhams, like you're kind of like rocking in with almost $1 million on your wrist. When you're actually looking to buy a watch, there's the recommended retail price, which is what the brand says the boutique should sell you the watch at, okay?
Yeah.
But because a lot of these watches are difficult to find and it's almost impossible to get, there is the market price, which tends to be a completely different figure than the recommended retail price. It can be 3 times more, 4 times more, depending on how exclusive this watch is. With Richard Mille's, the market price tends to be significantly higher than the boutique price, which is why there's such high demand, because you know that there is a margin to be made.
So how do you get the best price? I mean, how do you get your hands on these watches? There's all this talk about waiting lists and, I'm not rich enough to know too much about it. That's why you're here.
Well, you hang out with the right crowd. I could tell you that from the watches that you bought with you. So relationships are key, okay? So say you like Audemars Piguet and you rock into the boutique regularly, you have a relationship with the team there, you've bought a few pieces in the past with them, you're automatically a loyal customer, and loyalty does come with its perks. So when there is something coming up that you want, or you're already closer to get it than someone who's never bought anything from any brand before.
I I love niche brands. This is an Aventi. It's white sapphire, and it was the first one to be delivered in the Middle East. So it's a new company.
Yes.
But if you invest in the company, you get a watch.
Okay.
But how beautiful is that to be a part of something, you know?
Yeah, and like I know we focused a lot on the big players, but there are a lot of niche brands that are making a lot of sound in the market right now.
Yeah.
So like FP Journe is one of them. So it's much smaller than the brands that we spoke about in terms of production capacity.
Yeah.
But the demand on their watches has skyrocketed recently.
Now, investment-wise, is it better to customize or not to touch the watch? Because I know that affects the price appreciation.
If I'm buying a watch from Rolex and I ask Rolex to, you know, what are the customization options that are available to me, so they can come back to me and they're like, oh, we have this available in these different colors, or we have this available. You can have a diamond bracelet with it or not. So you're customizing it via the options that the brand themselves is providing you with. If you do that, that's okay, that's fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that, and the value of the watch will hold. But if I buy a Rolex and then I take it to the gold suit and I tell whoever to take it apart and put diamonds everywhere, okay? So even though I've upped the bling factor, I've tampered with the watch itself.
Okay.
So my guarantee, it depends what I've done, but most likely will become void at this point, and it's no longer a watch that is recognizable in the market. So when you buy a watch, just make sure that you hold on to the papers and the box.
Yes, that's very important advice. I've been told that as well.
Yes, exactly.
Why does it matter?
Because it's sort of like the authentication certificate, it's the identity of the watch. You're proving that it's the real deal.